Have you ever crossed paths with someone who did not just enter your life, but altered its entire frequency, leaving behind a feeling that something sacred had just happened, even if you could not explain how or why? Because if you have, there is a very real chance that woman carried the unmistakable energy of Aquarius. And tonight, I invite you to stay until the very last breath of this message, because what you are about to hear is not entertainment, it is remembrance. A truth that will echo in your spirit long after this video ends. A truth that many sense intuitively, yet only a few ever fully understand. Before we go deeper, take a slow breath and allow your body to soften. Let your mind open. Let your intuition guide you rather than logic. This is not a video for passive listening. This is an experience, a doorway, a mirror. And if you feel drawn to continue, if something inside you whispers, "Keep listening," then trust that pull. It means this message belongs to you. So let us begin with something many people secretly wonder. Why does the Aquarius woman feel unforgettable? Why does she leave an imprint that remains years, sometimes decades, after she has walked away? Why is her presence so powerful that even casual interactions feel like spiritual signatures etched into memory? The answer is deeper than personality. It is a soul pattern, a cosmic signature written before her birth. Aquarius is neither ordinary nor easy to categorize. She is ruled by Uranus, the planet of revolution, innovation, and awakening, and by Saturn, the keeper of discipline, wisdom, and karmic truth. This dual influence creates a rare and mesmerizing energy. She is both the storm and the stillness after the storm. She is rebellion woven with ancient knowledge. She is the woman who feels like tomorrow while remembering lifetimes of yesterday. Some people call her unpredictable. Others call her detached. Many call her misunderstood. But those who truly see her, those who recognize her soul rather than her behavior, they know something different. They know she is a messenger, a catalyst, a spiritual disruptor who appears in your life not to follow the script but to rewrite it. And when she appears, she brings with her a vibration that demands truth, authenticity, and awakening. This is why no one forgets her. She does not mirror expectations. She reflects possibilities. She stretches the mind. She expands the heart. She awakens dormant parts of the spirit that many people never knew existed. And this awakening is not loud. It is not forced. It is subtle, like a shift in air pressure before a storm. It is silent enough to feel internal, yet undeniable enough to change everything. Maybe you have met her once. Maybe she was a lover, a friend, a stranger, a mentor. Maybe she stayed. Maybe she disappeared without explanation. But you remember her, and the reason is simple. Aquarius energy is not temporary. It is transformative. It does not come to decorate your story. It comes to redirect it. And if you are still here, listening, then something inside you already knows this. Something inside you recognizes that she is not just a personality type or a zodiac description or an astrology archetype. She is a spiritual event, a frequency that arrives when it is time to evolve. Before we continue, take a moment and ground yourself with a single thought. Say this silently, or speak it aloud if you feel called to. I am ready to hear what my soul already knows. If this opening resonated with you, leave a comment below with the words, "I am aligned with truth." Now let us step into the foundation of who she truly is, not the surface version people think they understand, but the energetic blueprint she carries from the moment she takes her first breath. When an Aquarius woman enters this world, she does not arrive silently or blindly. She arrives encoded with a vibration that belongs to the future. It is almost as if her spirit remembers something the rest of us are still learning. Her soul holds the memory of freedom, innovation, and universal truth. She is born with a mission, even if she spends years figuring out what that mission feels like and how it is meant to unfold. She belongs to the element of air, yet her air is different from the air of Gemini or the air of Libra. Gemini brings curiosity and movement. Libra brings balance and harmony. Aquarius carries the air of transformation. She is the invisible wind that pushes consciousness forward. She is the whisper before the revolution. She is the quiet knowing that something is ready to evolve. Her thoughts rarely stay inside the limitations of tradition. Instead, her mind reaches for what has not been built yet, what has not been spoken yet, what no one else has dared to imagine. Her ruling planets tell the deeper truth of her nature. Uranus is the planet of awakening, rebellion, disruption, and sudden illumination. Saturn is the keeper of time, responsibility, structure, and ancient wisdom. These two forces shape her into a paradox that very few can fully understand. She can be logical and distant one moment, yet deeply intuitive and spiritually guided the next. She can appear detached, yet she feels the collective emotions of humanity in a way most people cannot. She can be approachable and friendly, yet impossible to fully claim or possess. She walks the line between what is earthly and what is cosmic. This combination creates a woman who is wired differently. She does not move through life on automatic patterns. She questions everything. She does not accept things just because someone said that is how it is. She looks deeper. She senses what is missing. She asks what is possible. And because of this, she often becomes a catalyst for others. She does not even need to try. Simply being in her presence reminds people that they have permission to think differently, live differently, love differently, and exist more authentically. In the spiritual sense, the Aquarius woman carries what many mystics call the frequency of the future self. She may not always feel like she belongs in the environment she was born into. Sometimes she feels ahead of her time. Sometimes she feels misunderstood. Sometimes she feels like she is speaking a language other people have forgotten, yet she does not force herself to shrink. Even in her quiet moments, she radiates a silent confidence. The kind of confidence that does not need validation because it comes from soul memory rather than social approval. Some may see her as unpredictable, but the deeper truth is she is aligned with intuition rather than expectation. When you watch her from the outside, her choices may appear unusual or sudden. But if you could hear the internal compass inside her spirit, you would understand that nothing she does is random. Everything is guided by alignment. Everything is guided by truth. Everything is guided by a knowing that cannot be explained with logic but can be felt deeply and unmistakably. This is the blueprint of the Aquarius woman. She is not here to repeat history. She is here to redirect it. She is not here to follow footsteps. She is here to create new paths. She is not here to be normal. She is here to be necessary. When someone meets an Aquarius woman, they often notice her presence first, but it is her mind that becomes the unforgettable imprint. Her thinking is not linear, it is not confined, and it is never predictable. She processes life through intuition and logic at the exact same time, which creates a rare brilliance. Conversations with her do not feel like simple exchanges of words, they feel like revelations. She speaks in a way that makes you question your assumptions, expand your perspective, and examine your beliefs with fresh eyes. There are moments when she says something that seems simple, yet later you realize it was profound. She does not explain her intelligence, she embodies it. She listens differently, not to respond, but to understand, not to judge, but to decode. When she looks at someone, she sees beyond behavior. She sees intentions, patterns, and potential. People often say she feels mysterious, but the truth is, she simply does not operate from ego. She is more interested in authenticity than validation, and more drawn to truth than comfort. Her curiosity reaches beyond the personal into the collective. She wants to understand humanity, society, and consciousness. Her thoughts are not limited to the present moment. They stretch into what could be. Because of this, she often senses change long before it arrives. She never tries to impress people with her intelligence. She does not need to. Her wisdom reveals itself naturally, often in silence, or in the way she chooses when to speak. She values depth over noise, substance over performance, and this is why so many people remember conversations with her. They do not just hear her words, they feel them. And once you have felt that kind of mental frequency, ordinary interaction rarely feels the same again. Now here is where the world often misreads her. The Aquarius woman is not cold. She is not unfeeling. She is not detached because she lacks emotion. If anything, she feels too deeply. Her heart is not guarded out of fear. It is guarded out of wisdom. She has an instinctive understanding that love cannot be rushed or forced or controlled. She will not pretend. She will not play roles. And she will not love halfway. If she chooses someone, it is intentional. It is soul-based, not circumstantial. Her love does not cling. It does not demand. It does not suffocate. Her love is freedom. It is trust. It is expansion. It is the kind of love that encourages growth rather than possession. Some people mistake this emotional independence for coldness because they have never experienced love without attachment. But the Aquarius woman knows that real connection is not about ownership. It is about alignment. She will not chase someone. She will not compete. And she will not sacrifice her authenticity for approval. She wants a bond that feels like two spirits evolving side by side, not one spirit shrinking to please the other. She gives love slowly, carefully, and deliberately, but when she finally opens her heart, her loyalty becomes unshakable. She stands by those she loves through storms, through reinvention, through change. Her heart is steady, even if her mind is wandering. And the few who earn access to her emotional truth soon realize her love is rare. It is eternal in a way that transcends attachment, and it is unforgettable in a way that cannot be described, only experienced. Now here is the part that many people only understand after she is gone. You cannot replace an Aquarius woman, not because she is perfect, but because her energy is one of a kind. There are people who enter your life to accompany you, and then there are people who enter your life to awaken you. She is the second. She does not come to repeat old patterns. She comes to break them. She does not come to tell you what you want to hear. She comes to speak what your spirit needs to hear, and sometimes that truth is challenging, but it is always transformative. After knowing her, other connections may feel predictable or limited. She opens the mind, and once it is open, it cannot return to its previous size. She encourages authenticity, individuality, purpose, and freedom. She sees potential long before others see it, and she calls it forward with quiet confidence. You may not always understand her while she is there, but once she is no longer present, you realize her influence was not temporary. It was foundational. Everything she touches, she changes. Everything she leaves behind, she elevates. She is not here to fit into a story. She is here to rewrite it. And once you have experienced someone like that, you do not forget them, because they do not just exit your life, they become part of your evolution. When we speak about archetypes in astrology and spirituality, we are not just talking about personality styles. We are talking about energetic roles the soul chooses before entering this lifetime. And the Aquarius woman carries the archetype of the divine rebel. Now, when people hear the word rebel, they often imagine someone loud, chaotic, or rebellious without purpose. But that is not her. Her rebellion is not against authority just to challenge it. Her rebellion is against limitation, against stagnation, against anything that restricts growth or truth. She does not reject the system because she wants to watch the world burn. She questions it because she knows humanity can do better. She stands firmly in what feels right, even if she stands alone. And there is something deeply sacred about that. She is the woman who sees a better future long before others even realize such a future is possible. In mythology, she would be the oracle, the inventor, the prophet, the alchemist, who looks at the world and sees what no one else can yet understand. She has the courage to defy the narrative, but she also has the wisdom to know when timing matters. She is patient because she knows evolution does not happen in a single day. Yet she never forgets the mission of her soul, which is to guide humanity toward freedom, consciousness, and innovation. Her spirit refuses to accept that things must stay the way they have always been. And because of that, she becomes a turning point in the lives of many. She does not lead in traditional ways. She leads energetically. She leads by example. She leads by being unapologetically herself. And her presence alone encourages others to break their own self-imposed boundaries. She embodies the permission slip people are secretly waiting for. The permission to live authentically. The permission to question. The permission to evolve. When you encounter her, you are not meeting a person. You are meeting possibility. Her gifts are subtle, yet powerful. She often senses energy long before any words are spoken. She can feel when someone is hiding their truth. She can feel collective emotional patterns the way some people feel weather changes. While others rely on memory and instruction, she relies on inner knowing. There is a word in spirituality called claircognizance, which means the ability to know without needing logic or explanation. Many Aquarius women carry this gift naturally. They simply know. They do not always know how they know, but the accuracy is undeniable. Another gift she carries is energetic detachment. Now, this is not emotional coldness. This is a spiritual ability to observe without drowning. While others get lost in their feelings, she is able to step back, breathe, and see the situation clearly. This allows her to guide others, comfort others, or support others without losing her own center. It is a rare ability, and it is part of what makes her so valuable in moments of crisis or transformation. She becomes the calm during storms, the voice of reason when emotions run wild. She also carries what many mystics call collective intuition. While some signs are deeply attuned to one-on-one emotional connections, Aquarius is attuned to the energy of communities, movements, and humanity as a whole. She often feels compelled toward humanitarian efforts, innovation, or spiritual leadership. And even if she never takes on an official title, her energy influences others. Her presence inspires. She does not need recognition. She does not need applause. Her purpose is simply to awaken. Every powerful soul carries a shadow, and the Aquarius woman is no exception. Her shadow is not weakness. It is a protector. Sometimes she retreats into her mind when emotions feel too overwhelming. Sometimes she hides her vulnerability because she fears others may not handle it with care. Sometimes she disconnects not because she does not care, but because she feels too much. And sometimes she isolates to protect her spirit from a world that is not always gentle with the unconventional. These behaviors can make others misunderstand her, assuming she is distant or uninvested. But the truth is, she is simply protecting something sacred within herself. Yet when she feels safe, something miraculous happens. Her light emerges fully. She becomes emotionally generous, deeply loyal, and profoundly compassionate. She becomes someone who sees beauty in imperfection, potential in struggle, and divinity in every soul she encounters. Her light is not just kindness. It is truth. It is intention. It is energy that heals without needing to announce itself. When her shadow and light learn to coexist, she becomes a force of nature, a teacher, a healer, a visionary, a reminder that authenticity is the most powerful expression of the soul. If your birthday falls under Aquarius and you are hearing these words, allow yourself a deep breath, not a rushed one, not a polite one, a real one. The kind of breath that reaches the chest, then the ribs, and finally the places inside you where you keep the feelings that are difficult to name. Because this next part is not about the world understanding you. It is about you remembering yourself. For many years, you may have felt out of place, not broken, not flawed, just different, like you were standing one step outside of the world, watching it instead of fully belonging to it. You may have wondered why you felt disconnected when others seemed content to follow rules without questioning, why certain expectations felt restrictive rather than comforting, why you desired freedom not because you feared attachment, but because your spirit has always known that expansion is your natural state. There may have been moments growing up when people tried to define you. They tried to label you with words like unusual, unpredictable, too independent, too distant, or too detached. And maybe, for a period of time, you tried to adjust. You tried to soften your differences, hide your genius, or make yourself smaller so people would feel more comfortable. But there is a truth you cannot escape. Your soul did not come here to blend. It came here to illuminate. You are what mystics call a threshold soul. You carry the past and the future within you at the same time. You sense what needs to be released, and you sense what is waiting to be born. The reason you question everything is because your intuition knows when something is misaligned. The reason you appear calm in chaos is because your spirit operates from higher wisdom rather than emotional impulse. The reason you do not rush into relationships is because you instinctively understand that soul connection must feel like resonance, not obligation. And if there have been moments when you felt misunderstood, know this deeply. There was never anything wrong with you. You simply speak a language that not everyone is ready to hear. You feel love differently. You communicate differently. You experience the world through a lens that is wide, collective, visionary. Your mind is not shaped to remain inside limits. Your heart is not designed for conditional love. Your spirit is not meant to remain quiet. There will be people drawn to your energy without being able to explain why. There will be some who try to hold you, not out of love, but out of fear of losing something irreplaceable. And there will be others who admire you, yet cannot fully meet you because they have not yet expanded into the version of themselves that can stand beside you rather than beneath the expectations of society. None of this means you are difficult to love. It means you require connection that is intentional, conscious, evolved. You are rare not because you are superior, but because you are authentic in a world that often fears authenticity. You are powerful not because you dominate, but because you activate. You are unforgettable not because you seek attention, but because you awaken something dormant in others. That is your gift. That is your presence. That is your legacy. If you are someone who once loved an Aquarius woman, whether in the form of romance, deep friendship, soul connection, or something undefined yet unforgettable, take a moment and sit with what still lingers. Because there is always something that lingers. You may have tried to move forward. You may have convinced yourself that time and distance would erase the memory. But the truth is that her presence was never meant to fade the way ordinary connections do. She is the kind of soul who enters with purpose, even if life disguises that purpose beneath mystery. You might remember conversations where she challenged your beliefs, moments where she saw potential in you long before you recognized it yourself. She may have encouraged you to ask questions that were uncomfortable but necessary. She may have held up a mirror, gently or unexpectedly, revealing truths you were not yet ready to face. And while that may have felt overwhelming at times, there was also something liberating about being seen with that level of clarity. You were not seen for who you pretended to be. You were seen for who you were capable of becoming. That kind of experience does not leave quietly. Perhaps you felt her distance and did not understand it. Maybe there were moments when her silence felt confusing, or her independence felt like emotional distance. Many people misinterpret her need for space as disinterest, but what she was really doing was honoring alignment. She cannot stay where the energy no longer matches truth. She cannot force connection, nor does she want love that requires her to shrink or dim her light. If she stepped away, it was not because she lacked emotion. It was because her soul followed authenticity, even if her heart felt the weight of letting go. And here is something many never realize until much later. She does not forget either. She remembers every connection that carried real meaning. She remembers the laughter, the growth, the lessons, and the quiet moments where energy spoke louder than words. She may not express attachment in traditional ways, but she honors what was real. Once someone has touched her heart through honesty and depth, a part of that bond remains alive within her memory, not as longing, but as gratitude, not as regret, but as evolution. The Aquarius woman does not come into your life to be an echo. She comes to be a shift, a doorway, a catalyst. She reveals parts of yourself you may have ignored or silenced. After her, you begin to notice when a conversation lacks depth. You begin to sense when something feels forced rather than natural. You become more aware of authenticity, more unwilling to settle for superficial connection. That is her influence. That is the mark she leaves. So, if you once loved her, understand this. It was not random. It was not accidental. It was not just another chapter. She appeared when your soul was ready to evolve. She changed the rhythm of your thoughts, the direction of your choices, and the structure of your inner world. And even if your paths diverged, the transformation remains. She was not meant to be ordinary, and your connection was not meant to be forgotten. So now that we have traveled through her essence, her soul, her purpose, her presence, let us sit in the quiet truth that remains. Because understanding an Aquarius woman is not about memorizing personality traits or repeating astrological interpretations. It is about recognizing that she is part of something greater. She is a reminder that humanity is evolving. She is evidence that independence and compassion can exist together. She is living proof that a person can be both grounded in wisdom and aligned with the future. She teaches without instructing, awakens without forcing, and transforms without trying. And perhaps the most unforgettable part of her existence is that she never demands that anyone become better. She simply is better, and somehow that alone invites others to rise. If you are someone who has crossed paths with her, whether briefly or deeply, whether through love or friendship or connection without a clear name, then you know this truth. She does not simply exist in memory the way others do. She becomes a turning point. She becomes the moment when something inside you shifted, the moment when you realized that ordinary is never enough, the moment when you felt your own authenticity tapping on the door of your spirit. You begin to crave honesty more than approval, freedom more than comfort, evolution more than routine. That awakening does not fade, because she does not represent who you were. She represents who you are becoming. And if you are an Aquarius woman listening to these words, then hear this with your whole being. You are not misunderstood because you are difficult. You are misunderstood because you are advanced. You are not distant because you lack emotion. You are distant because you feel deeply and you protect yourself with discernment rather than walls. You are not unpredictable because you are confused. You are unpredictable because you follow intuition rather than expectation, soul rather than habit. You are not alone. You are ahead. And every soul meant for you will meet you in alignment, not convenience. Allow yourself to take pride in your spirit, because it is sacred. Allow yourself to trust your timing, because it is divine. Allow yourself to walk boldly in who you are, because authenticity is the very foundation of your power. The world needs you exactly as you are, not softened, not restricted, not redefined, but seen, heard, and expressed in your full form. You are not here to repeat history. You are here to write the next chapter of humanity. So let this closing line settle not in your mind, but in your spirit. You do not meet an Aquarius woman the way you meet others. You encounter her, you cross a threshold, something shifts, something awakens. And long after the conversation ends, long after the chapter closes, long after paths diverge, her presence continues to echo because she is not just a person. She is a catalyst. She is a frequency. She is a reminder that the extraordinary is real and accessible. And once you have experienced that, there is no return to normal. Thank you for being here, for listening with intention, and for entering this journey with an open mind and an open spirit. If this message moved you, expanded you, or awakened something within you, then allow yourself to continue exploring. There are many other videos waiting for you, ready to guide you deeper into understanding astrology, energy, destiny, and the soul. Stay curious, stay open, and continue this journey by watching the other videos on the channel.